I slept like a rock for a couple of hours, a good 2 or 3 I'd say, before I jolted awake. I was really confused for a second, because I felt like I heard light knocking, but also felt like it was part of a dream I was having. I brushed it off and sat up, figuring I should probably just head upstairs while I was up. I shut everything off and walked toward the stairs, but as I passed by the front door, I got this feeling that I should check just in case. No one was there. However, in the thick snow were clear signs someone had been there. Because the snow was so tall, there weren't distinct footprints, but you could tell someone had dragged their legs all the way up here, and right up to the door, and probably took the same way to leave. The conditions were full-on whiteout, so past 5 feet from the porch, I couldn't see a thing, not even the road at the end of the driveway. I felt really uncomfortable about it, but I think my first thought was that whoever it was might have been lost in the weather and going door to door to try and get help. I was freezing, like full-on shivering, and it was so cold in the house that I could see my breath. I actually whispered what the hell under my breath because it didn't make any sense. My room was dark, but all the windows were closed, and obviously I'd had the heat on in the house all day and never touched it. Something had to be wrong. I think I'd heard too many horror stories because as I walked downstairs, I half expected to find the front door wide open and wet shoe prints all over the house. The physical dial was set to off, which I was 100% sure I didn't do, but also the screen wouldn't even turn on. I quickly started walking to the stairs, and just when I got to the bottom, I heard a sound behind me. It was the couch. It always made that same squeaking sound anytime you moved on it. I froze, then turned around. I took a couple steps, just enough so I could lean my body around the corner and look into the living room. What I saw was the most disturbing image that I still can't get out of my head. There was a man sitting right on the couch, facing forward, but his head was turned and looking at me. It was dark, but his eyes were wide and lifeless, and he was smiling. Not some over-the-top, teethy grin, but just enough to know this guy was crazy.